The impressions of your country are the same that I have when I met the incredible women that came to Shalva. The heart, the emotion that they are not afraid to hide. When they see something that's good, when they saw Shalva, when they met my son Yossi, who's blind and deaf, and realized that he could talk to them, the emotion was immediate and it was outside and on their heart. And it's that sincerity, that warmth that just moves me so greatly. The secret of Shalva is our love that knows no bounds for these children. It's the hope that we give every parent and every child. And it's the fact that myself and my wife are not professionals in the field. We are parents of a child who was injured as an 11-month-old baby and became blind and deaf. So we know the hard way what it means to raise a child with a disability, so that no one has to teach us how difficult it is for a parent to cope. So when we give with the understanding that there's nothing as too much, and we therefore are a little bit different, hopefully, than somebody else who's as good as he might be, doesn't quite have that insight what it really means to be a parent. I want to be very clear. There's great benefit in being a professional, and we hire the best professionals. A parent cannot do what a professional does. But you asked me what the secret of Shalva is, and the secret is that the organization, because of who runs it, in terms of being a parent, we don't know any limits in terms of our care. But certainly, without the professionals, you don't start. The organization started 24 years ago as a mom and pops with 10 children with disabilities. Today, we service thousands of family members throughout Israel. We are the largest in our field in Israel, and we have influence worldwide on organizations that have learned from Shalva and created their own large centers in their way, but using the Shalva principles. And those organizations include several very large non-Jewish organizations.
And what are the main three things you, Shalva, can teach?
It would be very hard for me to specify three things, but I think what is unusual about Shalva is that we fill in many gaps. Shalva was designed by my wife when our child was in New York as a baby and later in Israel. She found enormous emotional gaps in caring for a child as a parent. She found that when she went to the very best doctor, it was a lonely experience, because if you go to a good doctor, he probably has 4 people in the waiting room. He hasn't got the time to give the mother the emotional care she needs, and that's not his job. But that emotional support is something that is absolutely key in order to enable the mother to get back on her feet after having had a baby she probably was not expecting, or hearing from her doctor at a young age of the baby that the baby was not developing the way she had dreamed. And Shalva understood that we must, over and beyond caring for children, care for family members, most importantly, mommy. Because if mommy is emotionally put back together by meeting other mothers as part of her care, then the family functions, and daddy can function, and the other children can function. So I think one of the key components of Shalva's care is exactly its Hebrew name. The Hebrew name is Shichrul Mishpacha U'Yelad HaMugbal, literally freeing up the family and the handicapped child. And we have to understand when we care for a child that there is a family unit there that requires our deep attention.
And happiness is a great mitzvah in Judaism. So how do you make the children happy?
It's contagious. And at Shalva number 1, the staff is happy. And you do that by taking care of your staff, that the staff loves working there. That can be as simple a thing as being paid on time at the first of the month. In 24 years, nobody's ever been paid a day late. So the staff knows whatever we discussed, they're paid. The environment amongst the staff is positive. There's no competition. If you turn out to be a great staff person, you will find your way to the top, but no one has to fight for that. We recognize good staff, and we give the staff the space to work and to do what they do best, so that they can feel that they're accomplished. And we make sure that the children and the staff have everything they need to enable them to be happy. On the wall of Shalva down below is written our saying, "Color my world with hope." We're not medical doctors, and we're not God. We can't necessarily cure the illness, but we can provide the child and his family with hope. And when the child has hope, and the mother and father have hope, it's a very different experience in terms of raising that child. And it brings great joy.